Hey, good morning, students. Let us today start the next some characteristics of the sensor. Last time we have studied some 5-6 characteristics of the sensors, and basically there are two kind of characteristics of the sensor. One type of characteristic is a static characteristics, and second category of the characteristics of the sensor is a dynamic characteristics of the sensor. So out of these two categories or types of the sensor, we have started the first category of the sensor characteristics, and that is called as a static characteristics of the sensor. And before that, we made the definition of a sensor. And what is this sensor? The sensor is nothing but it's a device which detects or sense a physical quantity and convert that into a readable form. Or the whole purpose of the sensor is to detect changes in the surrounding and send that information to a processor. This is called as a sensor. The static characteristics of the sensors are based on the ability of a sensor to measure the quantity which are constant, which are not varying with respect to time. Those characteristics are called as the static characteristics. And first, some of its characteristics we have already started last time. Let's go quickly all these characteristics. The first static characteristics of the sensor is accuracy, and we know that this accuracy is a degree of closeness of a measured value to its actual value, and this accuracy is expressed in three different ways: point accuracy, accuracy as a percent of span, and accuracy as a percent of true value. And therefore we can say accuracy is equal to error divided by true value into 100. This is what the formula we have studied last time. And what is meant by error, that we have already studied. The second static characteristics of the sensor is a precision, and this precision is nothing but it is a measure of a degree of agreement with the group of measurement that we have studied with an example, and hope you have understood the difference between this precision and accuracy. The next static characteristic of the sensor is a sensitivity, and this sensitivity is the quickest response of an instrument to smallest change in the measured variable. And therefore sensitivity is equals to, it's a ratio of change in output to the change in input that we have studied. And what is meant by response curve and all we have already studied last time. The next static characteristics which we have studied last time is the linearity, and this linearity is a measure of quality of a sensor. Next property or characteristics of the sensor is the repeatability, and this repeatability is nothing but it is the ability of a sensor to reproduce a group of measurement of same input under same operating conditions, and thus it shows the performance of the sensor. Sensors are required for safety of a product quality, and therefore they should be reliable. Next static characteristic of the sensor is a reproducibility, and this reproducibility is the degree of closeness with which a given value may be repeatedly measured, and it is an ability to perform an assigned function to a specific period of time. And along with that we have also understood what is the difference between the two terms, repeatability and reproducibility. And today we are going to study some more static characteristics of the sensor. The next seventh characteristics of the sensor is the resolution, and this resolution is a least count of the sensor. It is the minimum change or smallest increment in the measured value that can be detected with certainty by the sensor. This resolution is the number of parts that the output or displayed reading from a sensor can be broken down into without any stability in the signal or reading. Now you are familiar with this word resolution and you have been using. Let us consider the example of a mercury thermometer which has a resolution of 1 degree Celsius, and a digital thermometer has a resolution of 0.1 degree Celsius. That means a mercury thermometer can read 1 degree Celsius, 2 degrees Celsius, 3 degrees Celsius, etc. temperature values, whereas digital thermometer can read a smaller temperature values, 0.1 degree Celsius. So the resolution between these two values is 1/10. This is called as a resolution. Next static characteristic of the sensor is a threshold, and this threshold is nothing but it's a minimum value which defines the threshold of the sensor. So in case of sensor, threshold is defined as the range of different input minimum values over which there is no change in output value, and this is also known as the dead space or band or a zone. Ninth static characteristics of the sensor is a drift, and this drift is the duration for which there is no output even if the input is applied to the sensor. This drift is the variation in the output of an instrument, that is sensor from the desired value for a given input due to charge in the sensitivity and interfacing input like temperature, component instability, etc. Let's go for the next static characteristic of the sensor, and it is called as a stability. And this stability of the sensor gives the performance of the sensor. That is, if the stability of the sensor retains its performance throughout its specific operating life. If stability is good, then performance of the sensor is better, and if the stability is poor, then the performance of the sensor is said to be not satisfactory or not good. Let's go for the 11th static characteristics of the sensor is a tolerance, and you are much familiar with this word, what is meant by tolerance, and you are calculating the tolerance of the resistance in the UGN 11th and 12th standards, so you are quite familiar. This tolerance is the closely related to the accuracy, and it is the maximum allowable error in the measurement is specified in terms of some value, and that value is called as a tolerance. That is, maximum deviation of a manufactured component from some specific value is called as a tolerance. Let's take an example of a resistor whose tolerance is equals to plus minus 5%. It means that if suppose the resistor which is given to you to calculate its resistance value, let us say its resistance value is a 250 kilo ohm and its tolerance is equals to plus minus 5%. It means that the value of the resistor may vary by 5% plus minus. Let's take one more example. If a project required the pipe of 12.2 meter length, then the specific tolerance from that value may be plus minus 100 millimeter. That means the length of the pipe, which is 12.2 meter, may vary plus minus 100 millimeter. And the next static characteristics of the sensor is a range or span, it is called as. And this is also, you are familiar with this word range or span. So let's first consider an example, and then we'll make the definition of a range, or what is a range. So let's consider a voltmeter whose scale calibrated on it is ranging between 10 volt to 30 volt. Then the range is said to be 10 volt to 30 volt, and the span is said to be a 20 volt. That is the difference between highest scale minus lowest, that is 30 minus 10 gives you 20, and this is called as the span. So simply I can say span is the difference between full scale and the lower scale value, and therefore we can say range of the sensor is mostly from minimum value or from 0 to the full scale value, and span is the difference between them. Let's go for the last static characteristics of the sensor, and this is a hysteresis, and this hysteresis is the characteristics of sensor. We have also studied this hysteresis in case of magnetization, and you are well aware with the hysteresis graph. So this is the difference between two separate measurements taken at the same point. First is taken during the series of increasing measurement value, and other during the series of decreasing measurement values. Let me explain some more clearly. Let us consider we have a hysteresis graph, and the lower point is A, from which the values are, or the measurements are increasing, and once the highest point is achieved, then the measurements readings will go on decreasing. That point is called as B. Then the first reading is taken during the series of increment. That means at point A you are taking the first reading, and at B, through which the readings start decreasing. So in between these two you are taking the reading or difference between two separate measurements. Let's take an example. When a pressure sensor measures a pressure from low pressure to high pressure, it will give different output than when it measures from high pressure to low pressure. Let's go for the next kind of characteristics of the sensor. The first type of or category of a characteristic of sensor is the statics. There are total 14 static characteristics we have studied now, and now let's go for the next type or category of the characteristics of the sensor, which is called as the dynamic characteristics of the sensors. The set of criteria defined for sensors which changes rapidly with time are of two types: desirable and undesirable. And desirable criteria which changes rapidly with time are again of two types. One is the speed of response, and second one is called as a fidelity. Whereas the undesirable criteria which changes rapidly with time are again of two types. First one is called as a dynamic error, and second is called as a lag. So let's go and try to understand all these four different terms. The speed of response is defined as it's the rapidity of the measurement system that responds to the changes in the measuring variable, and this indicates how active, fast the system is, or I can say how active is the system. Second is the fidelity. This fidelity is defined as it's a degree to which a measuring instrument is capable of faithfully reproducing the changes in input without any dynamic error. This is called as the fidelity. And the third criteria, or I can say undesirable criteria for the changes in the dynamic characteristic, is a dynamic error, and it is difference between the true value of the measured quantity to the value shown by a measuring instrument under varying conditions. Now, what is lag? Every system takes at least some time to respond. Whatever the time that system takes to respond the changes in the measured variable, that time taken by the system to respond is called as a lag, or I can say time lag. For example, lag occurs in temperature measurement by temperature sensors such as thermocouples or RTD or dial thermometers due to scale formation on thermowell due to processed liquid. And these lags are of two types: a retardation lag or time delay lag. I am not going into much details of these small types. Classification of, let's go for the next topic, that is the classification of the sensors. And sensors are classified based on the various factors, based on the quantity measured, based on the type of the sensor, that is a primary sensor, secondary sensors and all, active sensor and passive sensors. This is again a type of sensors, active sensors and passive sensors, and these active sensors and passive sensors are classified based on the power requirement or the energy supply requirement to the sensor. Active sensors are the sensor which requires the power supply, whereas the passive sensors are the sensors which doesn't require any power supply, are called as the passive sensors. And the example of active sensor and passive sensors are photoconductive cell and thermocouple is an example of active sensor, because thermocouple and photoconductive cells needs a power supply, external power supply to it. Therefore, these two are examples of the active sensor. Whereas for passive sensor, you can give a simple examples of a thermometer or thermistors, which doesn't need any power supply, external power supply. Wherever you want to measure the temperature, you can just put the mercury thermometer, that will give you the reading based on the expansion of the liquid. So those kind of sensors are called as the passive sensors. Next type of sensor are analog and digital sensor, and these sensors are classified based on the output of the signal. If the output of the signal is continuous, then the signal is called as analog signal. If the output of the signal is a discrete or not continuous, then the sensor is called as a digital signal. The next classification of the sensors are sensors and inverse sensor. This depends upon the function of the device. And the next classification of the sensor is based on the principle of operation. And there are various types: resistive, capacitive, inductive and ultrasonic sensors also. So let's go in deep one by one. So let us study the first kind of sensors, which are classified based on the quantity measured. There are plenty of sensors which are manufactured for the measurement of various physical quantities, like temperature. That means temperature is a physical quantity, and for the measurement of temperature you can manufacture or you can design a sensor. And what is the basic requirement of the device which you are going to manufacture? The basic requirement of this device which you can manufacture for measurement of a temperature is that device must sense a temperature and it must convert that temperature physical quantity into an electrical signal. Just an example, thermocouple and thermometer or thermistor are the examples of temperature measurement sensors. Likewise, there are various devices or transducers which measures the pressures, and some of its examples I have already given here. Bourdon tube, strain gauge and piezoelectric sensors are the sensors which measures the pressure. Now what is the operating principle of the piezoelectric sensors? These piezoelectric sensors sense a pressure exerted on its faces or on its sides, and that pressure exerted converts into an electrical signal, maybe current or in voltage. These are called as pressure sensors. Next kind of a sensors which are classified based on the measurement of a quantity, physical quantity, is a force or torque. Next, some of them are based on the speed and position, light, gas, mechanical, humidity, electricity or electric signals, chemical, radiant and magnetic. So these are various physical quantities you can measure, or you can design a sensor for the measurement of these various physical quantities. And of course we are going to study all these in details with some examples. So there are names for the sensors for the measurement of mechanical energy or humidity or electrical or magnetic. So let us study the examples and its operation principle or operating principles of a sensor which measures the temperature physical quantity or thermal physical quantity. So the first example is a resistance temperature detector, that is RTD, and this kind of a sensor measures of course a temperature, and it is an electronic device used to measure the temperature by measuring the resistance of electric wire. Second example is a thermistor. An operating principle of this thermistor is, it's a type of resistor whose electrical resistance varies with change in temperature. Next is a thermocouple. Thermocouple is an electrical device which consists of two dissimilar electrical conductors forming an electric junction. Thermocouple produces temperature dependent voltage as a result of thermoelectric effect, and this voltage can be interpreted to measure the temperature. You have studied these thermocouple, thermistors and temperature dependent resistors, so you are well aware with this. Next two you might have studied in electronics. So LM35 is a electric sensor or a sensor which of course sense a temperature, and it is an IC used to determine the temperature by measuring the voltage of an electric output. And the next example is AD590. It is also an IC used to determine the temperature by measuring the current of an electric output. The next example of a sensor is a gas thermometer, and this gas thermometer measures the temperature by measuring the pressure exerted by a definite amount of gas enclosed in a volume. Next example is bimetallic thermometer, and its operating principle is, this bimetallic thermometer converts a temperature change into mechanical displacement. Similarly, the next example is a vapor pressure thermometer, and the operating principle of the vapor pressure thermometer is, evaporated vapor of the liquid at constant pressure depends on temperature. Next example is liquid filled thermometer, and its operating principle is thermal expansion. When temperature of the liquid changes, then pressure shows the change. The next type of sensor is a solid state temperature sensor, whose operating principle is temperature sensitivity of a doped semiconductor such as a diode or transistors gives voltage change that vary linearly with temperature or specified range. So these are all the temperature sensors, and in the next video we'll study next measurement type based sensors. Hope you have understood this. This is a complete theoretical paper, so you may feel some difficulties on it. Please go through the topics that we have studied. Next time we'll study the pressure based sensors. Thank you.